It's great to welcome Robyn Fralick to MSU today. Robyn is our brand new women's basketball coach at Michigan State University. She's an Okemos native, so right around this area. Robyn, great to welcome you to MSU.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Thanks so much.
Talk a little bit about your background growing up in Okemos and what you've been doing until now coming back to Spartan Nation.
Yeah, so I was actually born in Sparrow Hospital, which is cool. You know, we just drove by that the other day. And I graduated from Okemos High School in 2000. So born and raised, family here, a wonderful place to grow up. I just have so many good memories, and to come back feels a little surreal. It's been interesting, even as we look for houses and places to live. There's a lot of nostalgia. Obviously, I've been back to Okemos a good amount with my family being here, but I've been back as a visitor. So now to be back as a community member is pretty cool for it to come full circle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I was 10, I went to a birthday party in that house. When so-and-so lived there.
Sure, my husband's ready for all of the memories.
Boy, yeah. Well, so Robyn, why now? What attracted you back to lead the MSU program?
Well, I just feel so fortunate for the opportunity. I mean, Susie's been the head coach here the past 16 years, done a wonderful, fabulous job. And, for the opportunity to come about, at a time in my coaching career where I've been able to have opportunities, it just feels really fortunate. It's a great job. It's as we're going to get into, the women's basketball has never been better. Just the quality of it, the visibility of it, the product. So I just feel grateful.
Yeah. So what is sort of the state of the team you're taking over? And again, like you said, the sport has never had a bigger spotlight. Great time to be assuming the reins, I would think, from Susie.
Yeah, still learning a lot with the team. I had my press conference last Tuesday. I was able to meet with them Wednesday, and then I actually had to scoot home because I still had to unpack my office and turning keys and clean and, the transitional pieces of changing jobs. So still a lot of things I'm learning, both of us. I'm excited this week that I'm back on campus, and I'm going to really just get to know them better, get a chance to work out and watch them play, and kind of figure out where we are and where we need to go. And
what are some of your immediate short-term goals? And then if you've had time, even some longer range ones you're thinking about?
Well, short-term's all people. Yeah. You've really got to get to know the kids. You got to get your staff. We're right now in the process of getting the staff here, and then everyone knowing what we're about. But that does take time, because right now I think the roster is evolving. Who's here, who's leaving, who's coming in. So there's those pieces to it, getting a staff here. But the short term is people. Long term is, okay, let's get all the people under the same expectations, under the same system and guidelines. So I've done this before. I'm actually having flashbacks. I remember when I went from Ashland to Bowling Green, I was like, recently I was like, I think I remember this. I remember all of the sort of transitional energy that goes into the change. But it's really exciting, and so far the kids I've been able to meet with have been great.
Yeah, well, and changes in your world happen fast sometimes.
They do.
So.
They do.
Yeah. What about as you pursue some of those goals, both maybe some challenges and opportunities you see? Well,
a challenge is always in the newness, right? When you're taking over a team and teaching a new system and teaching just a new way of doing things, I think that always takes time. And I always say the trust piece is so important. And it's, it'd be ridiculous of us to think that just happens with a magic wand. I know that I love to say trust is built. It's not built in a day, it's built every day. And so that's going to be two-way with, staff and players, and let's put us getting on the same page, I know takes time. But it's an exciting piece of it. And I always say trust is slow to lose, or fast to lose and slow to earn. So you can't speed that process up, but we can invest in it every day.
Yeah. And where does that passion for coaching come from? As a player, did you know you would eventually do it? And what is sort of your coaching philosophy?
So some background, in my family, I'm the only person who played basketball. So my family, my brother played golf and baseball. My dad was a swimmer. My cousins were swimmers. So basketball has always just been something I've loved. I never felt like I've been forced into it or that it was somebody else's passion and I tagged along. I remember when I was little, my dad would let me stay up to watch the national championship game. That was sort of the treat. So I just loved it. And I was fortunate. I got to play it when I was really young. I remember, like when I was in third grade, I played down at the Lansing Salvation Army on Saturday mornings. So I just got some really cool opportunities. And then my senior year, I played at Davidson College. And I remember thinking, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life. So I headed over to the Career Center, and I left thinking I'm going to go work at a dude ranch this summer in Colorado, right? I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I was like, well, that sounds really fun for a summer right after I graduate. And, that actually didn't transpire. But I did have a sports marketing internship out in Colorado, and it was an awesome experience, and I missed basketball so much. I was like just searching for places to play pickup, and I missed it. I knew it was just something I was passionate about, and I was fortunate actually that summer to get my first coaching opportunity at Appalachian State. And at that time, Appalachian State and Davidson were in the same league. We were both in the Southern Conference, so that's kind of where I got my foot in the door.
And what role did you play? What was your game like?
Yeah. Oh, as a player?
Yeah.
Well, I played point guard or off the ball. I was probably best I was a good passer.
Yeah.
And I was good at stealing the ball, but I could have really improved my shooting.
Yeah.
that needed some work, but it's funny because my husband played college basketball as well, and he's a great shooter and scorer, but I tell him he's got to learn how to play defense. He's got to pass it better. So we feel like if our kids can get a combination of our skill set, then they'll be pretty good.
And didn't he play for Greg Campy at Oakland University?
He did.
Yeah.
So he was at Oakland for a few years with Greg Campy, and then he actually transferred to Saginaw Valley and played under Dean Lockwood.
I missed that part. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Oh, well, how interesting.
Yeah,
it's such a small world.
Yep.
Yeah. And we talked about, Robyn, how the game has never been more popular.
Yep.
How has it evolved, do you think, over your time in it, and where do you think it's headed?
Well, it's evolved a lot. There's been more opportunities. It was funny. I was talking to my mother-in-law, and she's 73, and she was sharing that she played half, right? She was only allowed to play defense, so she played on half of a court. Well, clearly that was a long time ago, but part of it is we've all gotten more opportunities. We've been able to play since we were younger. We've had higher level opportunities, so the quality's been better. You get more chances. You play younger. There's better at level athletes. There's better players, and when there's a better product, there's more eyes on it, and then when the product continues to be so fun to watch, people keep coming back. So I think it's been, Title IX's been a big piece of it, and I think we're continuing to stay in pursuit of more opportunities. And through that, I think we've all seen what it looks like when girls get a chance, right? And when girls also are on TV. Funny story with that, I was obviously just the head coach at Bowling Green State University, and we had a game on ESPNU this year. We played ball. It was near the end of the season. We played Ball State on ESPNU. It was the only ESPN game for MAC women's basketball for the whole season, and it was the first time I think it was 14 or 15 years that BGSU women's basketball had a nationally televised game. And it went to overtime, and it was awesome. And I had 100 texts after the game because the whole world got to see it. So my point in sharing that is when you get chances and you get opportunities, the return on investment continues.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And Robyn, what about just the whole world of intercollegiate athletics? We hear about name, image, and likeness and the transfer portal. Just, again, sort of your assessment and where do you see it all going?
I think it's part of our world, and I think to think anything different is a bit naive.
Adapt and embrace, right?
Adapt and embrace, and yet I still also believe that the things that matter always matter. So that won't change. I was a Division II coach for 10 years. I was, obviously at Bowling Green for the past 5. And the things that make a quality experience make a quality experience. Those don't change. Like true relationships, a culture people want to be part of, expectations, standards, being able to help, being able to provide support, like those things really make an experience. And then the added resources are a bonus, and they're part of it. And I think it's really cool. But I've coached really happy kids at D2 where we drove a van and ate Subway, because they were part of something. And I think the things that matter, still feeling part of something, staying in pursuit of something together really matters. And then how cool that obviously is the sports have gotten better and better, and there's been more resources that have gone with that, and I think those are cool pieces.
Well, so that's one of the better answers I've heard. I really like that. So,
thanks.
Well, Robyn, just sort of summarize as you get Spartan started. What do you want Spartan Nation to know about Robyn and the team?
Well, first of all, I'd love to just have the community come out. I think such a big piece of a student-athlete experience is having a crowd that cares, right? Having a student section and an engaged community. And I know that's twofold. I know we have a real responsibility to get into the community and give back to the community. And, I always say you cheer a little different when you know the kids, right? You cheer a little different when you really know them and know who they are. I want the Breslin to be the ultimate home court advantage. And then who we are, how we're going to play. I've always operated under 5 core values. I call them the traveling core values. But when they become really part of a team, and I know that takes time, I just think you see a connected team. You see a spirited, competitive, together team. And that's going to be what we're going to work really hard towards is playing in a way that is inspiring. I always think people are drawn to a team that has that sort of spirit. So we're going to work hard to get that.
And what are those 5 things?
Yeah, the 5 core values.
Yeah.
Be a great teammate. I say that's very sort of trendy and easy to say, but actually really hard to do. But when you can do it, your whole experience changes. And our second one's manners matter, which we get so many opportunities. We could do so many cool things, and we want to make sure we're operating out of gratitude instead of entitlement. Our third one is trust, which we talked about earlier, but really an important piece for an experience and a career. And then toughness. It's literally how we play. But I also have said I've never, in all my years of coaching, I've never coached a kid who finished their career and thought, oh, that was just so easy. Even the absolute best players I've coached on the best teams, right? There's peaks and valleys through a season. There's peaks and valleys through a career. And to think anything differently is really naive. So there's a toughness piece to sort of the endurance of a career, and then also how we play. This past season when I was at Bowling Green, we were second in the country in turnover margin. So we forced a lot of turnovers and we took good care of the ball. But to do that, there's a certain effort and energy that goes into it.
Those are great values.
Yeah, and then our last one's commitment, which is central to, anything done well for anywhere, any job. That piece is really important.
But you're right. Anything worth having doesn't come easy. Very few things anyway, put it that way.
Yeah, there's no microwaves, right? For we live in a world with Google and we have things that are fast, but things that really matter. I actually had this card on my desk that just says, great things take time. And if you look at anything in the world,
I agree.
That's true. Yeah.
Robyn, it's been great to meet you. Welcome again to Michigan State University, and I hope we talk again. Go Green.
Go Green. Thanks so much for having me.
That's Robyn Fralick, the brand new head coach of the Michigan State University Spartan women's basketball team. And I'm Russ White. This is MSU.